Hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome back to the Bundesliga show brought to you by Over the Bar. We're back for some match week 11 predictions. Hope everyone's doing well this evening. Plenty of games to look forward to as we're on the eve mark of yet another damned international break. It feels like we get our momentum going again, and then all of a sudden it stops for these internationals, these endless internationals. So one more weekend of Bundesliga action to look forward to before we all have another break. We'll get into it in a little moment. Of course, please do smash a thumbs up on the video this evening. Obviously, let us know your thoughts, your predictions on all the games, on certain games, whether it's your teams or not. Obviously, a lot of them, a good deal of them at least, will be involved in European action this midweek. Some will be just kicking off in a few moments' time. A good 2 wins, close matches for Leverkusen and Frankfurt, but great to see them both winning. And what's been another really positive midweek for our Bundesliga teams. Mark, looking forward to match week 11 before we get going.
Yeah, definitely. As you mentioned, it's the last one. It's a really important one at the moment because you feel as though there's so many big fixtures in there this weekend. I think this is going to be a key weekend, both at the top and the bottom. I think every team's going to want to get a win going into this 2-week break because, for some teams, if they lose this weekend, it's going to be a real hard kind of month before the winter break as well, because obviously we've got the winter break from, I think, the weekend of the 16th and the 17th as well. So it is an important part of the season, this.
Yeah, absolutely. As the Hinrunde will continue. Some really big games. Good evening to Moritz. Thanks for the comment. Big weekends for both Köln and Bochum. Absolutely, some massive games. So we're looking forward to getting into these predictions, and please do let us know what you make of them all. So I'm kicking off our predictions for this week, and I get to start with Friday night fixture of Borussia Mönchengladbach versus Wolfsburg, which has certainly got mid-table clash written all over it, but nevertheless, the Friday night game often produces the goods. And I think this will be quite an entertaining one. Well, where Gladbach are involved, it usually is, isn't it? And I was just looking at the form of both of these teams. I was thinking, Gladbach really aren't in that hot of form. But I just done a bit of comparison work, and they're probably in better form than Wolfsburg overall, to be honest. So they've been free scoring. Great to see Jordan Sibachu in form. Player as well has been hitting his straps. So I see absolutely no reason why Gladbach can't do a job. So I'm going to say a 2-1 home win over Wolfsburg.
Yeah, and then obviously moving on to the Saturday games, we've got on fire really at the moment, FC Bayern Munich against Heidenheim, who got a good win last week. And, they probably needed it as well, considering the fixture they've got this weekend and going into an international break. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, this isn't the hardest game to predict in truth. I think it's a matter of how many, I'm afraid, for the home side. I think Heidenheim have just got to go out there and enjoy it, to be honest. I think I said that about Darmstadt a couple of weeks ago, and they got hit for 8 in the second half as well. So maybe, don't enjoy it too much like Darmstadt did. But yeah, I think Harry Kane, 8 goals in 3 games. He just seems to be getting better and better and better. It's just ridiculous. He got another 2 against Galatasaray last night. And yeah, I'm going to go for a 5-0 home win here, I'm afraid. No disrespect to Heidenheim. I think everyone that watches this show knows that I respect and like Heidenheim. But I just think Bayern are starting to hit the straps going forward at the moment. And especially Kane and Sane have just been ridiculous in recent weeks. So a 5-0 home win for me.
Yeah, hard to argue against that, really, isn't it? Another toughie for me. So FC Augsburg hosting Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim travel really well, don't they? They can't win for heaven or money at home, but they're great on their travels. Augsburg, of course, are a really strong home team, so I think this will be a really close contest. What may be one of those games that is slightly dearer on the goal scoring front. But yeah, so that I might have to be a bit boring and sit on the fence. I might have to go for a 1-1 draw on this one. Can't see Hoffenheim losing, but I'm not sure if they'll have quite enough to get the win.
Yeah. And then probably the game of the weekend, really, and the VfB Stuttgart versus Borussia Dortmund. Two sides in the top four, currently third versus fourth in the league. I mean, a few weeks ago, I would have said this, is going to be a classic. But at the moment, both sides of it's a bit of a bad run. Stuttgart have lost the last two, and Dortmund have only picked up 1 point from the last two games. But they did put in a brilliant performance against Newcastle in midweek to enhance the chance of going through a really hard group in the Champions League, which will be great for the Bundesliga as well, especially considering there's that extra position available this year as well for the two nations that do the best in Europe. But I just think, obviously, Guirassy, a lot of people saying that he's likely to start this game. I'm not sure they'll risk him, to be honest. But, yeah, I think it's got the makings of being a great game, a bit of a classic, this one. Dortmund don't seem to have that many really high-scoring games these days, like in the past. I think since Terzic came in, he's tightened it up a little bit defensively. Yeah, I see DJ CJ says that, they are going to be without Guirassy again. So, yeah, as a result, I'm afraid I think I'm going to go for a 3-2 away win. But I think it will be a good game, this one. I think both teams kind of need a win to keep up the form. And I think Dortmund will, as they often do in this kind of game, I think they will come through.
Yeah, well, it's certainly nice to be in this position thinking about Stuttgart hanging on to Champions League football rather than us hanging on to league status. So, yeah, quite nice thoughts. But it'd be great if we could stop the rot of the two-match losing run. Yeah, and so our next game, some comments in there from DJ CJ about Kane possibly getting another hat-trick, and might he break the record? Well, the way he's going, it's looking highly likely. But yeah, next game as well. Oh, I'm getting all the hard ones this week, aren't I? Darmstadt at home to Mainz. Yeah, I mean, you're only as good as your last game sort of thoughts come into my head. Obviously, Mainz rolling off the back of that great victory over RB Leipzig. But will they have the same motivations? With Boris Svensson leaving and that kind of bounce the squad has had away from home, a lot trickier and a nastier place to go as well with Darmstadt. So it will be difficult for them. Obviously, Darmstadt losing to Bochum the other night. Last week. So yeah, I'm going to have to back the away boys here and say a 3-1 away win.
That'd be huge if they can pull that one off. Yeah. And then, there's two big games at the bottom this week. And the second one is the late kickoff on Saturday as well between Bochum and FC Köln. I think, I was impressed with Bochum last week. They don't win a lot on the road. And, Asano was superb. I thought he took both of his goals really, really well in Darmstadt. That was the win they needed. And, they're probably reasonable favourites to win this game. They've not won at home this season in the first five, which is a real shock, actually. Because, Bochum are famous for being a team that basically get 85% of the points at home. And I actually think they will get the first home win in this game. I've been saying all season, I know Moritz, I think he said he was a Köln fan, but I'm afraid I just don't like the look of the team this year. I just don't think there's enough goals in there. I think they were quite good against Augsburg last week, but ultimately they should have won that game, really. I think they've created enough chances to win it. And the fact they didn't, paired with other results going against them too, with Bochum and Mainz getting wins, I just think this could be a real dark day for Köln if they lose this one. I'm going to go for I don't think it'll be a battering, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win for Bochum.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it'd be great to hear your thoughts, Moritz, in the chat if you are thinking that Köln might be able to get an away victory for your boys. We'll just move on to the final three games of the weekend then. Maybe a slightly easier one for me to predict. Obviously our current league leaders, Leverkusen hosting FC Union Berlin. who came out with great credit from their 1-1 draw, stopping the rot in all competitions to draw with Napoli. Fantastic first ever Champions League point for them. So all, due credit. And, we really hope that they can, get back to winning ways. I don't think it will happen this weekend, though. Leverkusen going from strength to strength, just come over a tricky game. This evening, a 1-0 victory thanks to a Boniface last-minute penalty. So they probably weren't maybe able to rest as many players, although there was quite a few substitutions going on when I last checked. But yeah, home team, I'm saying are going to get a comfortable win. I'm going to go for a 3-1 home win for Leverkusen to keep on pushing.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that one. And then, another really hard one to tip as well. A team, Bremen, who are very strong at home. They've already got 3 home wins so far out of the 5 games. And, I thought they played well last week as well against Wolfsburg in an entertaining game. I think most Bremen games are really entertaining. That's one thing you can say. They score goals, they concede goals. As for Frankfurt, their season's really starting to take hold at the moment. I think they officially qualified for the next round of the Conference League tonight. So, they won away in Helsinki. And, they're going to be quite confident. They don't play well every game, but at the moment they are playing well as a collective. And, if they don't score a lot of goals, then the defense does well. If they score a lot of, if they concede a few, the attack bails them out. And that's how they're going at the moment. They're on quite a long unbeaten run, actually. They've only actually lost 1 game in the league as well out of 10, which is really impressive, actually. But the only problem with Frankfurt is that they're drawing too many games, and I do think this will probably be a draw as well. I think it'll be an entertaining, high-scoring draw, and I'm going to go for a 2-2 in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Morris saying about last week had enough chances to win the game, but without Modest up top, Köln unfortunately have not been the same since. Christian commenting that Union just can't catch a break. The fixture list not being too kind for them after them getting that great point. Maybe them not being able to catch any momentum. And DJ CJ saying if Utz and Tillman are back in the Köln side, they could cause the first home upset for Bochum this season. So great points and great chats in there. From everyone. So the last game of the weekend does look like a pretty tasty one as well. Of course, Leipzig at home, very strong team. They'll be looking to, bounce back from a really disappointing result against Mainz. Was it just circumstantial, the perfect storm, for Mainz to get that win? But you'd expect a side like Leipzig, with the talent that they have, to get themselves over the line, even in those sort of games where the emotion's high. They'll face a Freiburg side who are, they're not super confident, but they've not been playing too badly. And I think, like you said, Mark, on the Monday show, if Freiburg can really start to get someone like Holler scoring goals, more regularly, or Gregorisic, then there'll be a bigger threat for teams. But I think Leipzig at home will have a bit too much for them. So I'm going to back them and say a 3-1 home win for Leipzig.
Yeah, interesting. So let's just close by having a look at the updated table after match day 11, if our predictions are correct, which is saying a lot, let's be honest. But it would once again be a Leverkusen leading the way from Bayern Munich, starting to kind of make a bit of a gap now if that comes true. I wouldn't quite say a 2-horse race in the title yet, but definitely I think the likes of Leipzig and Dortmund they're playing catch up at this stage, that's for sure. Then obviously Stuttgart, Hoffenheim and Frankfurt making up the rest of the Europa League and Conference League places. And looking down at the bottom, it would be unfortunately Cologne at the bottom, and Union Berlin would slip into the bottom 2 incredibly as well. And then Darmstadt, who, it is an absolutely huge match against Mainz, this one. I think it's potentially even the biggest game of the weekend in the league, this one. And, if they don't win that one, then they would drop into the bottom 3 below Mainz and Bochum. So there you have it, guys. The predictions for match day 11, the last one before the next break. So yeah, let's have a look. So yeah, if you enjoyed what you saw today, then check out our Twitter at Over the Bar FB and at Over the Bar Extra. If you want to follow Rory as well, at Village Footy 20, I should say. Yeah. And once again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, watch some of our other videos as well. We've got vlogs, match day vlogs from all over Germany, from this season and last season. Also, check out some of the Football League stuff as well, which is on there as well. So, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, guys.